The OG YouTubers are fighting online, and there's also interesting reunions and talks of Ryland leaving little poopies around his house with Shane and Trisha calling them out for this whole thing. We have got to get into everything because I'm just over here like, what do you mean this is all happening right now? To start with the OG YouTubers getting into some drama, it all started when Joey Graceffa posted a video with his ex Daniel Prada. The video was titled, "Answering Uncomfortable Questions with My Ex-Boyfriend, Spill or Spew." In the video, Daniel brings up how he was jealous of a YouTuber when him and Joey first got together, and said it was YouTuber Connor Franta. For any OG YouTube watchers out there, you may or may not remember Connor, but I vividly remember him from being a part of O2L and also hanging out with Troye Sivan. And well, Daniel had some things to say about Mr. Franta.
So I feel like in the beginning of our relationship, I was jealous of a certain YouTuber.
Name them.
Connor Franta. But then I realized that he's the most boring person I've ever met.
We don't need to be mean to Mr.
I'm not
Franta.
being mean, I'm being honest.
I think Daniel thought that he was going to take this a lot better because there was a comment where someone said, "Connor Franta, stitch this please." And Daniel commented and said, "Babe, he's fine and somewhere watering a plant." But Connor was not having it and replied in a TikTok calling out Daniel.
And legend has it you are still jealous of me. Daniel, you have been subtweeting me. My name has been in your mouth and on your mind for years. You're obsessed with me. I don't know why. I don't think about you. The internet doesn't think about you. You are categorized as one thing, Joey Graceffa's ex-boyfriend. Leave me alone. If my crime is being boring, your crime is being nothing.
The comments went crazy for Connor's reply, and he liked and replied to a few of them. This one said, "Go off, Connie." He said he started it. Another said, "Daniel who?" And Connor said, "Exactly." Someone else said he chose violence. Connor liked it and said the truth can be painful. Other people commented and said, "Oh, Connor did not come to play. OMG, cooked." And Connor also liked that one. And now YouTuber Chris Clemens is responding to Daniel Prada as well, coming out in a TikTok to respond.
Oh, Twinkerbell, I'm gonna need you to be for real for 1 second. How are you gonna sit there dressed like a 2016 Topshop clearance section mannequin while having the same surgical work as every twink turned wannabe model in Los Angeles, holding court on what's bored?
Literally so wild that this whole drama has all happened and come up. I just didn't expect that we would be talking about Daniel and Joey and Connor at all. I feel like Connor especially is just never getting talked about, but here we are. Crazy. Definitely very unexpected. But speaking of unexpected surprises, Shane and Ryland were talking about leaving unexpected things around their house. And this is information that they had shared on their podcast a little while ago, but it was getting brought up by Trisha recently, and now clips have just been going around this week on TikTok about this whole discussion because people want answers as to what this all means. But someone called in to Shane and Ryland's podcast, telling a story of how their husband and them were, getting together in the bed. He had his pants off afterwards and he scooted off the bed. And when he scooted, he left a little something on the sheets, a little poopsies. She didn't know how to handle the situation. She didn't know to bring it up or what, so she just washed the sheets, didn't say anything, and she called in to Shane's podcast to talk about it, get some advice on what they would have done in her place. And they all begin to talk about the situation, and Shane basically tells Ryland that he has no right to say anything because he leaves poop everywhere.
I agree. What? First of all,
no.
And I don't want to fight,
don't.
But you, Mr. Poopy Butt.
Oh my!
Are you kidding me? With the poop you leave everywhere you go?
Oh my!
Have I ever said anything?
Shane,
do I ever make
every
a thing
single
of it?
time?
What?
Every single time? How many times has this happened?
No.
Shane proceeds to call out Ryland for not being clean and leaving things around, making it seem like this isn't just something that happened one time. This is something that happens multiple times, which then freaks out the other people in the room because everyone's like, what?
What are you talking about?
He stuffs it down the shower.
He doesn't even care about it.
Oh,
like
when
he leaves poopy somewhere, he's
poopy
just,
somewhere.
I'm like, can you go? I'm like, go bidet or go wipe or do something, and then he's just like, who cares?
No, I'm just saying. I feel like both of us will bring up bodily things to
Not
each
like
other.
that. That's so traumatizing. If I left a little poopy somewhere on accident, you should just take care of it and don't tell me the way I do to you every time.
I'm the only one who washes our sheets, so you would never know.
Anyways, thank you for calling in the show.
Now, Trisha, when she saw this, was like, what the heck? And had to bring it up on her podcast and had major questions for the two of them.
Jane talking about how Ryland leaves poop everywhere. That was the original thing, because I showed this to Moses too, and I was like, what does that mean, leave poop everywhere? He's like, yeah, you leave your little poopies all around around the house. And I was like, what does that mean? Right, that's what he said. And I was like, what? Like, why did he say you leave poopies all around the house? And Ryland's not denying it, by the way. And it does happen more than once, because even one of their editors or whatever, Chris, was just like, how often is this happening? Because he's like, he goes, all the time you point this out to me. He's like, all the time. Like, how often is this happening? He's like, you don't have to say this all the time to embarrass me. First of all, I'm kind of shocked it's not Shane leaving the poopies all around the house. Like, it's Ryland. Because, like, Shane is, like, publicly a grosser one, right? He talks about this stuff, like, whatever. So I was just like, okay. So I'm kind of surprised. But it's Ryland. And Ryland's not denying it. And Ryland's like, you don't have to shame me. You can just, like, because they do say at one point, like, just pick it up or clean it up and not tell me. Yeah, because he goes, and Shane's like, I do that every time. And that's when someone's like, every time. So, like, something's happening. So either it's, even if it's just skin marks on the couch, I mean, that's still wild.
And our whole point in talking about this was like, why are they bringing this up on the internet? Because they have kids now, and like, why do you want to be known as the dads who leave little poopsies around the house or something? Obviously, they were just answering a fan question and it came up, but she definitely didn't think that this was something they should have shared on their public platforms.
Not to like parent shame on this, but again, when you're like a parent, you have to just like, you know, watch what you say online, because it's just like alarming, right? Like, you're just like, okay, you're talking about leaving poopies everywhere, whatever that means. We don't know if it's skid marks, if you're actually leaving turds, like we don't know, but you're saying you're leaving poopy everywhere, and you have animals, you have, you know, babies in the house. It's like, why are you sharing this information online? Like, what is the point of this? They think it's quirky, it's funny, because it's just disgusting. Skid marks are disgusting. Like, it can happen, I guess, whatever. Like, if you just don't wipe well enough, I guess it could happen.
Truly just not understanding why they had to air this information out, but I guess they don't really care about what is out there since. At one point, I'm pretty sure Shane did admit that he pees in like water bottles or something, like by his bed, so he doesn't like have to leave the bed in the middle of the night. So there's just not much these two are hiding from the internet, and I fear they're sharing way more than people need them to be. Now, as for James Charles, he is in the middle of some sort of rebrand. I don't even want to call it that, because I don't think anyone's really going to be looking at James and being like, yeah, that's that singer. James is known for makeup and other things like his allegations, but in terms of singing, I don't think that that's the number one thing that's coming to mind when people think about James Charles, but he is definitely trying to get that conversation started, that's for sure. He's been putting out new music this year every couple of months, and he is about to put out a new song, and back in February is when all this started. He dropped his first song called Call Me Back, which was definitely a surprise to people, as this was just not something that people thought that he was working on or something that he was trying to do. He has done covers and such in the past, but I don't think anyone thought he was ever going to really like put something out there for real, but it seems like that's his move this year. So he is about to release a second song, but the reason we're talking about him is because it seems he's rekindled his relationship with his brother Ian. Last Christmas, it seemed the two of them had reconnected, given that Ian spent Christmas at James's house and they took photos together. But some people just weren't fully convinced that they had repaired their relationship, given that family does tend to get together for the holidays, and you can also be around people that you don't like or support in those times. So some felt like it didn't mean anything that they were in the same room together or taking family photos together. But recently, he's been posting with his brother more, and even shared a video on Instagram with him in promotion for his new song. He said, "Showing my brother my new music video." And the caption was, "Love you forever at Ian Jeffrey, Friday, April 26th. Ian commented back and said, "Love you endlessly." So this seemed to confirm that the two of them are on good terms, which is just shocking given what James said last year in an interview. Prior to James's painted brand launching, he sat down with Cosmo and they really got into it, talking about his journey online, cancellations, all of it. It was titled "James Charles would like to be uncanceled, please." And this article did anything but uncancel him. Honestly, I think it just brought a lot more concern to people. In the article, they really dove into everything that's been said about James, and he admitted to them that because of everything that has been said and come out, the allegations, everything, him and his brother had not spoken in quite some time. They wrote, "The fallout became deeply personal when his younger brother, who works as a model in New York City, stopped talking to him because of the allegations. It's now been 2 years since they spoke," Charles says. This part in the article was obviously quite alarming to most, I'd say, because the fact that his own brother wasn't talking to him due to everything that's come out, it wasn't a good look. I mean, personally shocked that he would have shared such information, since the way the article went, it seemed he wanted to be uncanceled and forgiven for everything and clear his name and all that stuff. And the last thing that this information is going to do is clear his name, because obviously if your own family isn't even supporting you, that's alarming. People assumed that he probably thought it was going to get him some sort of sympathy by saying, oh, this ruined my reputation and my relationship with my brother, when, you know, in reality, people were taking this as, that's really concerning that your family is not talking to you. It must be just as bad as we all believe it to be. It was just such a mess, but somehow, some way, they seem to start talking again. Who knows how it all ended up happening, but James sure isn't missing the chance to show that they are in fact in communication, hanging out. He's sharing his new music with his brother. I mean, the whole thing is just very interesting, and honestly, everything talked about today has me scratching my head like, how did we get here? But I want to know what you guys think about everything from James and his brother to Daniel and Connor to Trisha talking about Shane and Ryland's little conversation. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.